Yeah, Ronnie, after this match, we're going to call it.
Okay.
I don't know if any of you are on duty tonight.
I am.
I'm also
on duty.
I'm on duty. We're all also RAs, except for Jessica. She's been a good sport. Jess, any other thoughts? I mean, I've been spouting a lot. I know that.
I know.
Well, okay, definitely. Sorry, I totally cut you off.
No, I don't know.
No, definitely. Now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, it's great that we have this podcast. You know, it's all of us, you know, talking about it. But in the work that I do, you know, I'm always heavily critical of my male privilege when it comes to doing these types of things. So I think that as important as our perceptions are, you know, it would definitely be beneficial to see how it is that minorities and like, you know, just other people who are not, you know, the dominant, you know, experience these games, because we have our own perspectives. But it would be really interesting to see what it is like, you know, hearing other female gamers like what they would have to say about these games.
I mean,
definitely.
When I put out that notice on the RA board, I was like, you know, I hope I can get that perspective.
Right.
And now Jess, you are the only female in the room.
Okay.
So I mean, you've been pretty quiet. Granted, like you said, it's not like you have an excess exposure to video games. But I mean, how does this affect you? Like, are these things? Do you notice them when you do sit down with video games?
I mean, to be honest, with like these shooting games, I don't really think about that. I think it's also like I don't have a great interest in it. But I remember like, okay, Grand Theft Auto 5 though is like
Interesting.
No,
that's
fun game, but
I could say
Can I get
that
around
I
that for a
can
second?
easily be offended because but that's like a prime example of like, okay, that's not right.
Now I will very briefly defend Grand Theft Auto 5.
It's the culture they're trying to portray,
Exactly,
right?
right. The Grand Theft Auto historically has been a satire on the American culture, and it's not even made by an American developer, which is hilarious to me. But no, that's a very important, like even people who are remotely familiar with Grand Theft Auto, which a lot of people are, press circle to crouch. Yeah, will agree that the portrayal of women and minorities in that game is very negative, right? Women are obviously objectified, and a lot of the minority, the characters, the non-white characters are very often just stereocast. Granted, again, I know that their purpose of that game is just American culture satire.
Yeah.
But it's still harmful, right? And if they don't make it, if they don't effectively deliver that it is satire, then a lot of people are gonna take more offense to it. I mean, regardless, there's gonna be offense taken to it. But I mean, that game in particular, I do have a harder time defending. But no, that's very important.
Yeah, and like I feel like that game also brings up the debate of whether like it's like positive in that like I guess guys are I don't know how to say it, like, you know, like be violent in the video game while in like real life they're not, like if that's like an outlet for it, or if it actually like makes them like want to act that way, like it's, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, there's always that like debate about whether video games make people more violent, and you know.
Yeah,
which let me tell you is as a gamer, of course I'm gonna like defend this, but there actually have been studies done that show that video games in themselves do not increase violent tendencies. However, what I keep saying, anytime anything awful happens, like tragic, like the Virginia Tech shooting, like or Columbine, like I get so angry when I hear those stories, but generally I'm more overcome with grief than I am with anger. But I'm angry that it happens. I don't know why it happens. You know, we always try to attach meaning to things. Like that's just human nature. But when this happens, every time this happens, they always bring it back to, oh, they were playing Counter-Strike. Oh, they were practicing shooting in Call of Duty. Okay, they were mentally unstable people that obviously this is I need a cool down because otherwise I'm gonna get all. Otherwise I'm gonna be arguing emotionally. But
Right.
if you look at these individuals case by case, almost every time I'm pretty sure they were mentally unstable to begin with. So of course, playing these games would affect them much differently than a normally healthy-minded is going to sound a little bit weird, but healthy-minded gamers, it doesn't affect people the same way, and I think that's overlooked often. That it's not the game itself; it's the environment that it might be the environment that they're in, and it's also the condition that they're in that also contribute. It's not just, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm playing Killzone. Oh, well, I feel like going out and being a criminal." Like, no, like that's, to me, that's not a very good explanation for why these things happen.
Definitely.
But we're winding down. On duty in 10 minutes.
Exactly. But I do want to say, we talk about, this new idea that we're going to try and move into a more gender neutral society. In 20 years, we wouldn't even have this conversation.
I hope not. No, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just exciting that we see this new change in the video game industry.
Right.
Some would say, it's a little too late. They should have done this way earlier. But it's nice to see it because I remember playing Final Fantasy. The women were generally the healers. In these games, the males were always the strong magical characters and the strong sword wielding characters. But now, the more recent games, you can see that they're starting to come closer and closer. In terms of ability.
So, I have to stop us.
Okay.
But I encourage all of you to join back in so we can keep talking about these types of things. I hope to do more of these Let's Plays.
Sure.
It doesn't always have to be about something so serious.
This is a serious topic, it's kind of scary.
But
you asked me to do this.
I know.
It's good. We need this. We need these conversations.
For me, this presents an opportunity for us to have. One of the things I love about St. Mary's is that it's a liberal art school, and that encourages discussion. Now, granted, that only goes so far. The fact, what I am reassured by is students. It's going to sound really self-centered. Students like us, who are encouraged to have these discussions outside of the classroom, and not just about religion and acceptance, but just much broader and more focused on the issues that are still existing. I mean, I'm going to ramble on a little bit. Michael, you and I had the same leadership class, and we were talking about the inclusivity of St. Mary's itself, and about other private colleges, and we're not all the way there. We pride ourselves on being inclusive, but the truth is, just the institutionalized, cisgender, heterosexual, white-dominated, male-dominated culture that we have on campus still prevents a lot of people from feeling comfortable. A ton of more people than I probably realize, and more people than our faculty realize, obviously. But yeah, I mean, so I'm hoping that we can continue having these discussions, and I'm hoping people actually listen to them.
No, definitely. I think, just to piggyback onto what you were saying, I think it's really important to have these dialogues in non-traditional, classroom type settings because, what's your major again, Dan?
Business.
Yeah, business, exactly. These are the types of conversations that I would normally have in women's and gender studies, sociology, anthropology, the liberal arts majors that criticize society from a social point of view. And I think here at St. Mary's, and I'm sure this would also apply to a lot of different universities and communities, is that these types of conversations aren't happening. So, taking you for example, if we had more presentations and dialogues around issues pertinent to your major from a feminist lens or from a sociological lens, I think that would essentially help a lot, especially in business.
Okay, so I'm glad none of my residents are going to listen to this, I can guarantee it. So this little get-together we had before spring semester started. Okay, Maggie, our other RA friend,
Maggie
and Andrew, our other RA friend. So, first of all, we had been drinking, and I got in a drunken debate with these two about corporate social responsibility. Of course.
Oh my god.
So eventually,
I remember this.
eventually, the agreement that Maggie and I came to was actually true. That a lot of times this institutionalization can be traced to practices by individuals that flush throughout the company. And we can talk about this another time. That's fine. But what I thought was interesting is that even within my major, I have a completely different view of this than a lot of my classmates. That
Right.
a lot of my classmates like, no, dude, that's just the way it's gonna be. And then some like, no, that's really great that you actually, because a lot of people are like, oh, business ethics, do we really have to? But I truly believe that
I'm dreading that class.
I truly believe that all of our majors do make a difference socially once we leave out and bring our experiences with us. And business drives the United States. Like, buying and selling, like, that is the culture. The consumption is the culture in the United States. So I think that corporate social responsibility, at least in the context of the United States and globally, is very, very important in terms of driving cultural change as well. And we can have that discussion later. But I thought it was interesting that you're talking about our majors and things like that. I want to thank you all again for stopping by.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
You want to give a pitch to your website again, Michael?
Oh yeah, definitely. MichaelUrbina.com. I write on race, masculinity, men and feminism. Nothing that we have pretty much discussed here. Well, except gender a little bit and masculinity. But yeah, feel free to check out my website. I'm also on Twitter, Michael_Urbina. Thank you.
And well, if you're on my blog, then you know where it is. So, and 48 people have viewed it, so that's also kind of strange.
If you like my commentary, Arzalai21 Twitter.
Thank you for joining us. Whoever does decide to listen in, and if you stayed to the end of the video / audio, good job. Yeah,
congratulations. It's very broken, but it's really fun.
All right, we're hoping to do this again.
Definitely.
Peace out.